going on, peoples? So, been trying to figure out how to word this the past, I don't know, few years and whatever. And, you know, life goes on. Life's been happening and shit, so I don't really have a lot of time. And this fucking truck, every time I hit 70, it fucking wants to beep at me. Anyways, so trying to fucking figure out how to word this, and I'm hoping it makes sense to y'all. Shit, I'm just hoping it makes sense to me. Now, I'm gonna talk about two different words. I'm gonna give y'all the definition of each word, and then I'm gonna give you my perception of each word and pretty much what I have seen in the past 20 some odd years. So I just got done enjoying lunch. This is what I want to do, of course. So, two words are Patriot and Loyalist. Now, since 9/11, there has been an influx in patriotism in this country. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly acceptable. Trying to defend your home, you know, after an attack, and everybody's on guard about all kinds of shit. That's good. The problem is, in the past 7-8 years, people have taken that word patriot to a whole different level than what it actually is. And from what I've been seeing and everything, it falls into the other category, loyalist. Now, the definition of patriot is as follows. Mind you, I had to look it up because I'm 43 years old and my mind's not what it used to be, and I just had to make sure I had the wording correct. And like I said at the beginning, I have life going on, so I can't really think of definitions right off the top of my head no more. So, patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Sounds good, don't it? Sounds reasonable. Sounds like most Americans. Hell, it sounds like most people in the world when they're trying to defend their country. Doesn't matter where. Because patriot is not an American word. It's not an American ideology. It's patriot is defending your country regardless of where you're at. Now, the other word, loyalist, is as follows. Is a person who remains loyal to the established ruler or government, especially in the face of a revolt. Mind you, I had to write it all down because, like I said, I can't remember shit for shit. And sometimes I'm a complete moron. I'm a moron. Not necessarily a complete moron, but and I forget things and whatever, but when I sit there and look at these two definitions and see what they are and look at our country where it's at now, I have to laugh. Because these so-called patriots that have come out of the woodwork are actually not patriots. Now, a patriot to me, such as the U.S. military, a fireman, paramedic, you know, those are patriots to me. They are willing to put their life on the line for the greater good. And it doesn't matter what their philosophies are, what their ideologies are, what their personal beliefs are. They put that shit aside to help their fellow human being. And they put it aside to defend their home. And it doesn't matter where they live in the country, they put all of these beliefs that they hold dear and true to their hearts and to their brains and everything, they push it aside so they can help and defend their neighbor, their community, their state, their country. regardless of what the other person's political views are, regardless of what the other person's religious views are, or their gender or sexuality or the color of the skin or whatever, their social status. It doesn't matter. A true patriot will defend and push aside everything. To me, that's a patriot. Such as the U.S. military, who, even though they all have their personal beliefs and everything, they push it all aside to stand up against tyranny, against governments that wish to control the people, the masses. Except for they don't stand up to our government, because our government's paying their paychecks, even though it's insignificant, but that's either here or there. I see in today's world, in our country today, I see more of the American people being loyalist. It doesn't matter if it's left side or right side. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. I'm not for either, as I have stated in previous videos, as I have stated on all of my social media posts. I don't go for either side of the government rule, because they're both fucking idiots. They're both morons, and they both sides mean to rule with an iron fist in their own way. But these people that have claimed that they are patriots, such as the ones that are trying to defend Trump, who never served in the military, didn't do anything, and I'm not going to get into why I personally hate him since I was a child, but people have come out stating that they are patriots and they are willing to fight and die for Trump. That is what we call a loyalist. Yes, you are willing to fight and die for your country, and I'm not taking away from y'all on that. But y'all are willing to fight and die for an ideology or these beliefs because you're blindly following somebody. And it doesn't matter if it's left or right, because they both do it. Both sides do it. The right side, sits there and they bring their religion into it, and, they want the country to be ruled by this way, and it has to be this way. We can't do this, you can't do that, whatever. And the left's rules is trying to rule with mass fear. Either way, y'all are loyalists, because y'all are defending either side of those beliefs. Most people are joining the socialists and socialism and all this other shit because that's what they believe, and y'all haven't picked up a history book in fucking forever, so you haven't realized that socialism is actually very fucking bad. But you're kids, you don't know nothing, you're young, you're still learning the way of the world. Whereas Republicans, they want to rule with their religious rule. They want this country to be a Christian nation, even though it is not founded under a Christian rule or law or anything. This country was founded to be free of religion. Freedom of religion. Freedom from religion. Either way you want to look at it, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. You get to pick and choose what religion you want to be. This country is open to all religions, but the right wing, Republicans, Trumps, these so-called patriots, feel that their way is the only way, and this is the way this country should be. And left side feels that this country should be this way, that you should give us all your stuff and we will take care of it and we will pay all your bills and we will do this. And it's not going to happen like that. We escaped, our ancestors escaped that kind of rule when they left England and Britain and all these other countries, because they had that type of tyrannical rule in Britain and England. We fought against that in the 1700s because of what was going on with the king and who was trying to make sure that this country was his. Now, during that whole time, we had our true patriots. We had our loyalists at that time. We had loyalists that were born and raised in this country. We had loyalists that came from overseas to come here and try to persuade the people here to get on board with the king and the British rule. Well, those patriots, the true patriots, fucking shot him, killed him, hung him, whatever. We went to war with the loyalists because those patriots felt that we're not going to be ruled by a king that is overseas. We're not going to be taxed from a king that's overseas. We're not going to deal with this bullshit. We're going to have our own set of laws. We're going to have our own set of leadership that is not going to be one. We have a choice between one or the other or another. Whereas in those countries, it's this is the king or the queen, this is the way it will be, and you will either take it or leave it. Plain and fucking simple. But those were patriots and loyalists. That's what everybody kind of remembers, if you picked up a history book, that is. This is what I see our country going as, especially in the past 7-8 years. You know, Trump fucking made sure that if you fucking didn't stand for the flag, that if you didn't pledge your allegiance to a flag or to him or to the country, you were a traitor. If you didn't believe in the Christian God, you were a traitor. If you believed in this, if you believed in that, and it went against what him and his beliefs are, you were a traitor. That's loyalist. That is literally what loyalists do. And so many people in this country have blindly followed Trump, or they've blindly followed Biden and not even realizing the difference. And they're calling themselves patriots. You're not a patriot if you feel that your ideology is the only way to go. At all. A patriot will defend everybody's opinion, will defend everybody's ideologies, everybody's beliefs, and say you are entitled and you are right to believe whatever you want to believe in. You're entitled and believe and have the right to own whatever you want to own. That's what a patriot does. He defends those. He defends the Constitution to the letter. And it doesn't matter about abortion. It doesn't matter about fucking guns. It doesn't matter about free speech, because both sides have tried to take over and ban free speech at some level. Both sides, yes, including the Republicans on this one, have tried to ban certain guns in this country. And both sides have their mixed emotions on the abortion rights. So if you're blindly following a certain party or a certain person that's the leader of the free world, you are a loyalist, because you are willing to sit down and fight and die for that person. You are willing to fight and die for those beliefs that he or she has put out there. And you don't give a shit about everybody else around you, regardless of who they are, or what they identify as, or who they sleep with, or whatever. You are a loyalist. Patriot doesn't give a fuck. A true patriot will sit there and put them motherfuckers in place. will stand his ground and say, this is what's supposed to be done. This is how it's supposed to be. We don't need this type of rule from one party or the other party. Both parties should be working together to benefit the country and potentially the world. But instead, because we have these patriots that are actually loyalists on both sides of the spectrum trying to divide this country, the patriots, the true patriots, are kind of just sitting back and watching y'all fucking kill each other. So after I've given you the proper definition of what a patriot and a loyalist is, and after I've given you examples of this, you have to ask yourself, shit, what actually am I? Am I a patriot or am I a loyalist? Do I follow the Republicans or do I follow the Democrats, or do I want to follow the people and make it better? Choose wisely, because I guarantee it's going to cost you in the end.